So, just like kind of a little interview film, and it's gonna be a little interview film, and and a little update film, but more of an interview film, a little bit of history. I was working in the Disney on Ice for like 3 days, so I decided I was going to go check and see it out. Decided to buy a ticket, and see it, check it out and see how good it was. Well, since you guys know, you guys probably went to it, it's pretty good. Enjoyed it, even though it's for kids and stuff. But there's always, a lot of us grew up on Disney when we were kids too and all that, but this is like gonna be a little history film. I was like giving when I was working the concessions for the Disney on Ice, some of the vendors that worked the Disney on Ice, novelties and all that, were there. So I was like, met these two people that were selling novelties, and they was like telling people about, how Mickey Mouse came up and all that, but they really didn't know the background origins of Mickey Mouse. A lot of people, they got different stories, but I'm going to try to put in the right perspective about how Mickey Mouse was born and all that. Well, if you guys know, which some of you guys do know, Walt Disney was, Kansas City native. He wasn't born in Kansas City, but he worked in Kansas City, lived a little bit in Kansas City, and worked in Kansas City a little bit. But well, I was given these two people, worked in novelties, information background about Mickey Mouse. Well, they were so surprised that they gave me a it was actually $15, but they gave this for a free complimentary royalty to me, and plus they gave me a Minnie Mouse too. So, but this is like a story I'm gonna tell you about Mickey Mouse. Try to get through the original facts. I mean, this is like the new day Mickey Mouse, but you probably remember back in the 20s and 30s about, 30s about Mickey Mouse, because he really didn't debut until about the 30s, but he was, didn't have pupils and all that. It was just black eyeballs and everything else, and black white films. Well, like I told them, I was going to tell you guys, but some of you guys probably already know about, Mickey Mouse and all that, but let me just put it here, but Walt Disney was born in 1901 in Chicago, Illinois, from a family of 5. Irish descendant and all that, but about the age of 4, they decided to move to a little town called Marceline, Missouri, just north of here. I've seen Marceline, Missouri before. I think it's about on like northeast side of Excelsior Springs, Missouri, but I could be wrong, but I know somewhere up that way, but but he moved there at about the age of 4, and the thing was, they had a neighbor. He had a neighbor that was up in Marceline. That was yeah. Let's see if I can find his name. If I can remember his name. Name was Doc Sherwood. Well, he had a farm and stuff, and he paid Walt if he could draw a cartoon of his horse and stuff, which he did for some money, for Mr. Sherwood's horse. But the horse's name was Rupert, I think it was, but but he did pay for it. But also another thing was, he was into trains and stuff. In Marceline, Missouri was basically, how we started with the trains and all that, getting into trains and all that. because his uncle was an engineer for the train for a train company. But they stayed on the farm in Marceline, Missouri till about 1911. Then they decided to move to Kansas City, Missouri in 1911. Stayed a few blocks away, in the Midtown area, about 47th Street, about where Passau High School and all that is. Walt Disney, he went to Benton Elementary School, Benton, and which they call it Benton Grammar School, so he did his studies there and all that. And a famous park that was way before, in Kansas City, way before Worlds of Fun, Fairyland was around. Fairyland wasn't around yet. It was about to become around, Fairyland Park. There was a park called Electric Park. He used to sell on the corner of 46th and Paseo. Him and his sister used to go to that park all the time and stuff. Well, that park right there, it became to be, his dreams about, in the future about Disneyland. So basically, some of those features that was at Electric Park was, some of his features that he created in Disneyland when Disneyland opened in 1955. So they stayed in Kansas City for a while. Then for a while, about 2 years, and then they decided they wanted to move back to Chicago. Because his dad required some kind of jelly factory back in Chicago about 1917, and and so they moved back. But so Walt Disney finished his school up there in Chicago, and then he took courses in the Art Institute up there. Then, hoping, he became a cartoonist and all that, just doing strip cartoons, not animation cartoons or nothing right now, but he dropped out of that, and all of a sudden he was doing patriotic cartoons during World War I, but that's what made him dropped him out. He dropped out of school, and one thing I didn't know, he dropped he joined the Army at the age of 16. That's kind of crazy, but sometimes was trying to join the Army at age 16, but you got to be 18 to join the Army. But he was rejected because of his age. But so he was hoping he would find work work at that factory, but he didn't find work. So he came back to Kansas City in 1919, and pursue his career as a cartoonist and all that. But so that was happening, and so all that came down to it. And he met a guy named by the name of U.B. Iwerks, and they're basically cartoonists and all that. They worked together. They created a company together called Disney Iwerks Commercial Artists, and they were having problems with the money and finances and all that. So they dropped out of that, dropped the company down. So then Disney went to some kind of ad company, and a guy, he went to work for this guy at this ad company here locally, and this guy said, well, I'll let you borrow a camera and stuff. So he decided to take the career a different way. Instead of doing strip cartoons, he decided to try to do motion, like little slapstick motion picture cartoons. And what happened was that's what happened. He started doing that, and he started making political campaigns for the city and all that. Campaign cartoons for the political cartoons for the city and stuff like that. The Kansas City. But that came successful. So basically, they were so interested in that, and what happened was he contacted a one of the owners of a theater that was in downtown, Newman Theater. Mr. Newman was surprised about his little, motion picture cartoons, so little, shorts, and he wanted him to, do some advertising for, because they used to do advertising, for like, political cartoons and other kind of cartoons like that talk about the world and stuff, but Mr. Newman said, yeah, well, if you could do that, we could join up, make an issue, bond about that together. So what happened was, that happened, and he named a place called Laugh-O-Gram. So he got some money from that, started doing Laugh-O-Grams, and the company's name was Laugh-O-Gram. So he hired a few other cartoonists with his former friend UB Iwerks, and they started doing political, doing short cartoons. I'm trying to put in words here, but in order, but so that was going successful, but it was having insufficient funds about doing stuff like that, and so he decided to take his career, because his brother Roy was Walt's brother Roy was actually up in California, so basically, they got, calling his brother Roy about because it wasn't going successful in Kansas City, so they decided, was going to try to work it out. So his, try to work it out, but so he went to talk to his brother Roy about, trying to go work up there and stuff like that, about, cartoonists and all that, animated cartoons and stuff. And well, here comes a story about Mickey Mouse. The Laugh-O-Gram Studios was on the corner of 31st and 4th. The building is still there, and still, it's boarded up and all that, but they want to try to put a museum. The story of Mickey Mouse. I want to say 1928 was Mickey Mouse's birth date, but he was actually born about 1923, 24, but he wasn't really, popular. But the thing was, there's stories about Mickey Mouse, and another cartoon that, another figure that he did name was Oswald the Rabbit. Yes, Oswald the Rabbit was there. Yes, Mickey Mouse did generate from Oswald the Rabbit too, but the thing was, Oswald the Rabbit was had some kind of copyright infringement about some kind of Universal had the rabbit first or something, try to compare with some of their works, I guess. But so he had to go to redo the drawing board and stuff like that when he was trying to make a presentation, try to get up there. So what happened was that Iwerks, his long friend and co-worker, reconfigured Oswald the Rabbit to a mouse, shortened the ears and all the rest of the stuff, because Walt Disney had a adopted mouse that he adopted when he was down here in Kansas City at 31st and 4th, a pet mouse. So he decided to go with a mouse instead, because he wanted to remember that mouse that mouse that he adopted. But when he left Kansas City, there's a story behind that. When he left Kansas City, he let the mouse out, when he left Kansas City, let him go free out, down 31st and 4th when he left Kansas City. But so he adopted Mickey Mouse, which Mickey was not the original name when they first brought out Mickey Mouse. It was actually Mortimer Mouse, but his wife, Walt's wife, didn't like the name Mortimer. It was like something about, she didn't think the name was really good about it, so, the name didn't fit in with a mouse, so they decided to go with Mickey. So that's how it became Mickey, and then Minnie was down the road. you know, a split sec off of that. But yeah, that's like the story about Mickey Mouse. So basically, that's how the Mickey Mouse came up to be. He was actually originated in Kansas City, but you know, at that time when he drew, you know, did Oswald the Rabbit, it became, you know, Mickey Mouse because Universal had the copyrights about, you know, their what was against his, you know, his. So that's when they redesigned Oswald, became a mouse instead. So, but another story about Donald Duck. There's a story about Donald Duck that same thing as Mickey. Donald Duck was actually thought of down Truce Lake, right down a couple blocks away from the, you know, studio in Kansas City. So he didn't take off till long after that. But that was about Walt Disney and stuff like that. A little bit of information there. It's kind of a long film, but I was trying to get, you know, from what I heard and what I tried to put together, and all of a sudden what I saw, it's like, you know, try to put it in format, because you know you have all these different stories about stuff. So if you guys enjoyed this, I'm going to show some pictures. What these pictures are not mine. These are you know, some copyright from Disney and all that. So those are their rights still. Just to show you some brief history about, you know, show you Oswald the Rabbit compared to Mickey Mouse. So I hope you guys enjoyed this film, and thank you for watching.